as I said, I wanted to introduce some new guests to you in the audience. Now, if you follow network news or you're on X following political content every day, you might be aware of our next guest. She's a young rising star in right-wing conservative media. Priya Patel joins me now, and really, I want to kind of get. I'm an older guy now, believe it or not. I'm an older guy now, and so I have to kind of tap into the youth to figure out, well, what are they saying about this story? What are they thinking about that story? And so that's what we're going to kind of do here and get Priya's background. So she joins me now. You've seen her on Fox, Real America's Voice. She's all over X. Definitely a rising star on the right. So Priya, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for the kind words.
Well, I just call it as I see it, and I'm known to spot rising stars before they reach the stratosphere. But you're well on your way.
I appreciate that.
I want to get into the topical stuff. I want to get into the topical stuff first, and I the only time I really connect with the youth is maybe out at like the gym or social events. Sometimes I play like ball with high school kids, and I just kind of like to tap into them a little bit about politics, and they're mostly indifferent. It was funny. I made a joke the other day that got a kick out of them. I said, I was marked safe from the Epstein files. And they all laughed about that. So I was like, they actually know about this. They actually know about this. You're younger. You're in your early 20s. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're in your early 20s.
Correct.
What does your age group think about the current political elements? Are they talking about the Epstein files? Do they care about the Epstein files? Is this normal conversation in your social circles and your friend groups?
Yeah, so actually offline, I don't find that these are conversations that people that aren't particularly involved in politics are having so much. The Epstein files is a bit more of a cultural event, I think, so people pay a little bit more attention to that. But I don't see en masse a lot of people talking about politics of my generation, aside from, it kind of people tripping and stumbling over it into conversation, and then it becomes a very fiery debate, obviously, of whether you're accepted or not, and most of the time it's whether you're liberal or not. But yeah, so I don't know, it's a very split bag, I would say. I think that half of my generation is very, very involved and interested in politics, and the other half just, quite frankly, don't pay attention at all.
That's probably a higher percentage than my age group when I was your age. I'd say it was maybe like 30%. Maybe it was like 30%. And it was mostly just going along with trends. And I was always just kind of an anti-establishment, anti-government, anti-trend guy. So I remember everybody kind of really got into Barack Obama. They really got hype about Obama. They kind of bought into the whole Hope campaign. And it really wasn't even political for me. I just wanted to give everybody the middle finger. So I was always anti-Obama. I probably didn't even know enough to actually have a real stance at that time. I just liked to go against the grain. So it sounds to me like the younger generations are more interested in politics than certainly my generation was. Do you think that they're leaning more left, more right? The polls indicate they're more independent.
Yeah, I would actually say that the young men are leaning far more right and the young women are leaning very far left. It's a very split bag in that sense. And it makes a lot of sense. I think they're going the complete opposite directions, but for very, very similar reasons. The economy is going to be a big reason, but also if you look at the culture, young men have been rejected by the left and young women haven't been rejected, but in their eyes and through the eyes of feminism, they've been rejected by the right. So they're running away from both of the perceived parties that reject them.
Is abortion a big issue? Girls, when I was in school, abortion was a huge issue. Everybody had an opinion on abortion. Is that still the case?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially among young women. I mean, of course, young women are still very, very into feminism, into this perceived liberation, I suppose, where they think that they need to have this full autonomy over their body, including killing a child that is, quite frankly, not a part of their body. They might be growing it, but it is a separate living being.
What about the conservatives in your social circles or even yourself included? I'm a 3-time Trump voter. I'm extremely disappointed in this administration. Do you still feel positively about this administration, or are you starting to trend a lot of the ways other people are?
I still largely feel positively about this administration, especially when I look at previous administrations and what they've, accomplished or haven't accomplished more of. But I have been largely critical of a good chunk of the administration. A lot of it has been in regards to the DOJ, of course. I mean, the Epstein files have been a really, really big one. But along with that, we have not seen any sort of arrests, like major arrests and prosecutions of the people that have essentially been largely responsible for, falsely imprisoning Jan Sixers and the like. I mean, we haven't seen anything substantial on that front, and it's pretty much solely coming out of the DOJ in my eyes.
How closely are you monitoring the Epstein files?
Relatively closely. I've dug into some of them. I haven't spent a whole lot of time going through the millions and millions of documents that are available now. I see a lot on Twitter, but
Well, I think if it wasn't for X, I don't think most people would know about it. It seems like that's the only place anybody's covering it. The networks aren't covering it. I'm not really on any other social media, but I know they're all censored, so I doubt there's much coverage over on the other social media networks. But I don't think it's working. I think that the Epstein files have permeated the consciousness of many Americans. I mean, I just talked to my parents, and they're like, oh, they're kind of generally aware, but not of the details. So unfortunately, I have to inform them on some of it. How bad do you think it is when you hear or see some of this stuff? How bad do you think it is? Do you kind of go along with what the DOJ and others are saying, like, oh, there's no there, we've handled it? Or do you think, no, this is something extremely serious? Maybe we just need to put pause on everything until we figure out what really went down on that island or what Epstein really was.
yeah, no, I think it's incredibly serious. I mean, I think this is pretty much a complete vindication of anybody that was bringing attention to Pizzagate back in the day. I mean, we've largely known, but this is a massive confirmation that there is obviously a very insidious nature when it comes to the elite class, and it's very incestuous. They, of course, have all these nefarious what's it called, like extra activities that they engage in, obviously, when it comes to pedophilia and a lot of the satanic rituals that they clearly engage in. But on the other front, when it comes to X, I agree that it's not reaching the masses because most normal people that I know, they quite frankly don't even have an X account, let alone spend time going through the Epstein files on the platform. So I don't think it's reaching the masses in that way. But the other problem that I find with the Epstein files on X is that everything is circulating, including all of the, quite frankly, likely false reports from loony bins. I mean, it includes everything. So people haven't been really all that great at discerning a lot of the times what is credible or what is potentially credible and what is clearly not. So a lot of that is creating a lot of talk. And I think it's shooting a lot of attention in a direction that's not even really relevant. But yeah, I mean, I'm not of the camp that if you are simply named in the Epstein files that you are automatically seriously implicated. I recognize that Jeffrey Epstein rubbed elbows with anybody over with a net worth over, say, $10 million and anybody of major affluence. So, and I don't think that everybody was engaging in this nefarious behavior, but a lot of them were.
When Epstein, when he was the financier, is how they like to call him, and he opened a finance company. I believe it was in the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, and it was for billionaires only. And at that time, I think there were only 30 or some odd billionaires on the entire planet, and he had them all as clients. And you look at the stuff that he was into now, I feel like that's not by coincidence. I feel like he was hunting down the most elite, wealthy people on the planet, I think, to get blackmail over them. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, I think it was absolutely a massive blackmail operation, probably the largest blackmail operation that we've ever seen in this country's history, especially. But yeah, I mean, and I don't think that he was exclusively working for one country. I think he was working for a multitude of countries. I know that there's a lot of growing evidence that he was working for not only the United States, but also Israel, China, or sorry, not China, Russia. And I'm sure there are other countries included in there as well.
I don't think he was working for Russia. I don't buy that for 1 second. Russia is the boogeyman, in my opinion. Russia is the boogeyman that they love to throw out there. This is like old leftover Cold War era policies and attitudes and politics. I think that's a red herring. I'm going to cover that later on in the show.
I agree that Russia is largely a red herring. I 100% agree with that.
I almost feel like To me, the overwhelming evidence is he was working with Israel and Mossad. That's the overwhelming evidence. I wouldn't doubt for one second that he also worked with the CIA, MI6. It seems like he almost got so big, he kind of became an entity of his own. He kind of just became like an umbrella of his own over all of these intelligence agencies.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, with the release of these new files, it's very evident that we kind of knew that Epstein had a large network, but it's pretty clear that his network is probably a whole lot larger than we originally thought. So I think that's highly plausible.
All right, I want to get into some call. Let's loosen it up. I'm just talking to Priya here for the first time, guys. So this is like, all right, let's give her a 1,000-pound weight to try to lift over her head here on the Owen Report. So, all right, you did a little well. A lot of pressure here on the show. We keep things pretty serious. All right, I want to have some cultural questions for you. So, the Super Bowl coming up this weekend. Bad Bunny is the halftime performer. You may or may not know who Green Day is. That might be a little old for you.
I do, and I would love for a Green Day halftime show. But...
Well, they're doing the beginning. They're doing the opening show, and I'm sure there's going to be some anti-Trump, messaging in there. But whatever. Green Day's always been punk rock. We're kind of used to that by now. Bad Bunny. I don't know a single Bad Bunny song. Does that age me? I don't know one.
No, I don't think that ages you. I do agree that my generation is largely into reggaeton a lot more than previous generations.
Reggaeton. I don't even know what that is.
It's I don't even know how to describe it. It's like Spanish hip hop kind of.
I was gonna say, I thought it was like, I hear Bad Bunny, I'm thinking it's like Spanish, like Hispanic rap. I mean, he sings in Spanish, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I mean, he was one of the most popular artists, I think, multiple years in a row. Like most downloads, most listens to on the streaming platforms. So he's a very popular artist, but inherently un-American, to say the least. I mean, his anti-American and anti-ICE sentiments that he's been very, very vocal about are, essentially rejecting American culture in and of itself. And for the sport that is inherently American, I mean, it's called American football, for heaven's sake. For them to embrace that as an organization, I think increasingly shows that they hate the administration. They essentially just want to be these social justice warriors as an organization. But I mean, I love football. I love a lot of the players in football. I have my own personal football team that I root for diehardly. And I really...
Who's your team? Who's your team?
I'm a 49ers fan.
All right, avoid that electrical plant right by the field. You're going to tear your ACL.
I know. We need to figure that out.
The two Super Bowl teams both refused to practice at that facility. So the rumors, the online conspiracy theorists have won again.
Yeah. I mean, I completely buy it. We have been plagued with injuries like no other. There has to be some sort of reason.
Oh my gosh. She says, are you going to be shooting up? Are you going to be putting on the hat and shoulder pads? That's just an old joke from the sports media. That's an old joke from my days in the sports media. Whenever somebody says we always had to give you guys a hard time. Bad Bunny. I don't know a single song. I do know Kid Rock, I guess, is going to be doing a halftime show for TPUSA. I don't know. I guess that's going to be streaming online. Do you know any Kid Rock music? Do the kids know anything about Kid Rock?
I do. I think the kids do like Kid Rock. I mean, he's a bit of a cultural icon, at least in the conservative movement at this point. So I think people are more familiar with him than you'd think. But Bad Bunny is definitely winning the hearts of my generation, unfortunately. And you're not missing out from not knowing any Bad Bunny songs, to be so honest with you.
No, I have no fear of missing out. I am, I've seen Kid Rock enough. I don't know. I could watch a replay of that. I do feel like, because normally, to me, the Super Bowl is the worst game of the year because it's probably the most rigged. There's the most commercial breaks. So to me, the Super Bowl is like my least favorite game of the year. It's more of just like, okay, it's like a national holiday. Everybody watches it or whatever. I am curious, though, because I feel like Bad Bunny is going to make some statement. I feel like they're going to try to make some statement. I know that Jay-Z's group, they're the ones that are in charge of deciding who does the halftime show. Jay-Z's music group got a contract with the NFL. I don't know how long it was for. It seems like now they only put people in the halftime show that they know are either on the left or, quite frankly, that aren't white. They
Yeah.
certainly don't like putting white people on that stage, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm really tired of all these sports organizations essentially embracing wokeism and leftism just for no reason at all. I mean, there's no reason that we should be painting pride flags and BLM paintings on courts. Like, there's just no reason for it. Let's just play the sport that we're here to watch. Keep the politics out of it. It's really wholly unnecessary. And all of the DEI implants when it comes to halftime shows and you know everything that comes with that is again wholly unnecessary. Truthfully, I want to see an all American country halftime show. That's what I want to see.
I think that would be the most popular. It's very well known in the
I agree.
music. It's very well known in the music industry. Now, concerts, if you're a big enough name, you can sell anything. But as far as radio is concerned, the only music radio stations that make money are country stations. The only tours that make money consistently, no matter what, are country music tours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw, again, these are all old heads, but Ludacris and Nelly were supposed to be a part of this country tour. I forget the name of it. And then
I'm
Ludacris,
not familiar with the country tour, but they've been involved in a lot of country music as of late. So,
well, Ludacris's team came out and said, "Oh no, we don't want anything to do with it." I don't know. I'm thinking they didn't like it because they were afraid of the political institutions. Whereas Nelly basically gave him the middle finger a long time ago and said, "Hey, I don't care. I'll party with country stars. I'll party with right wingers." He even did a inauguration show for Trump. I think
I was
Ludacris.
there.
I think Ludacris's people were kind of like, "Hey, let's kind of back away from that. It's a little too political for us right now." But yeah, country music would be a smashing success. I mean, I would just like what I would like to see is somebody that plays a musical instrument. Like, can I get an instrument out there? Can anybody play an instrument anymore? Does Bad Bunny even sing? Can he play a musical instrument?
I think he just talks very quickly, to be honest with you. I don't know that there's much singing involved, but I think music artists are increasingly not playing instruments, at least when they're performing. I couldn't tell you the reason for it. Maybe it's because they feel the need to have these extravagant, I don't know, dance routines going along with their shows. But most of the time, they can't even dance either. So it makes no sense to me. I think Chris Stapleton was probably one of the best concerts that I've ever seen. And
Well, he's awesome.
he's
Yeah.
incredible. And it was just him and his wife, and their camaraderie is absolutely beautiful. I mean, he clearly has no real interest in performing. He's there because I think he feels the need to share his gift with the world, but he does not go over the top. He lets his voice and the art of his music do the talking. And his wife is there on stage with him for most of the time. He looks at her the entire time. He barely looks at the audience, to be honest with you, but it's incredible. There's no need to go over the top and be a showboat for absolutely no reason if you're talented enough, at least.
I agree. Country band, a rock band, that would be tapping into the mean of the NFL audience. But it's just
Oh
like
yeah.
every year they want to do, hip hop or something like that, that most of the NFL fans probably aren't even interested in. I mean, hell, I'm not a big fan of Taylor Swift, but even she would make more sense to me. Somebody in the comments says Bad Bunny plays the skin flute. Come on, guys. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they try something like that on stage. Hey, another question about younger culture. I keep seeing these polls that say younger generations aren't into drinking anymore. And, I kind of see that and I'm like, well, this is curious. Obviously, alcohol is a poison. But when I was a kid, when I was in college, that's what we did at parties. It was like if you were going to go to a party, you wanted to go to the party where people had 30 packs of Bud Light or, bottles to drink from, whatever. And so I kind of see that. I'm like, well, it's probably a good thing the kids aren't drinking. And you know what? You might be a goody two shoes. So maybe you don't know all of this, but that's how it used to be. My only concern is I see that, and I feel like there's always another side of that coin. So, okay, the young kids aren't drinking anymore. All right, that's good. I had a couple of tragic incidents with friends of mine drinking and not living after a bad mistake. So I'm like, okay, that's probably good that kids aren't drinking anymore. But I feel like there's something else. Is it really that good? Are kids just sober now, or are they finding different ways to get intoxicated and inebriated?
I think it's a little bit split there. I know my generation is very heavily involved in the health and wellness space, which is a great thing all in all. However, the other half are, very into drugs, specifically marijuana. So I think a lot of that is getting replaced with weed and nicotine largely. So I mean, it's certainly not with it's it's not solely with good intentions. Maybe on a surface level it is, but obviously in the end you're still probably abusing another substance in replacement of that.
You know what though? The science is already out. Weed and nicotine are a much better substance to consume than alcohol. I don't even think it's close, actually.
I mean, to be honest with you, that probably is health wise correct. I haven't really looked at the science behind it. I know that as far as marijuana goes, I think a lot of the science is very new. We don't really know a lot of the long term effect with regular usage of it. As far as nicotine goes, I think nicotine in small doses regularly is probably actually a good thing health wise. There's studies that show that it improves long term and short term cognition, but keyword being, small doses, and most people that use it abuse it. It's a very highly addictive
Are,
substance.
are,
So
are you going to put in a? Are you going to put in an Alp patch or an Alp thing after this? Are you are
I'm
you
not
are you a double are you a double doser?
I'm not a nicotine user, and I've never used a nicotine pouch. I'm scared that I'll vomit immediately, to be so honest with you. I've had nicotine before, but very, very sporadically,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah. We get it, Mrs. Goody Two Shoes over here. All right. One last question here, and it's nice to introduce you to my audience. I hope people give you a follow on X. I know you're going to have a long-standing career in politics. I can tell. I can tell the people that are going to flake and not make it, and I can tell the people that are going to stick it out through thick and thin. And it will get nasty. I promise you that it will get
Um,
nasty at times. Um, when I first got into politics, my parents thought I was crazy. They thought I was nuts. Part of it was because I was a pretty hardcore conspiracy theorist. But another part of it was, I was already in the sports media, kind of had a career path, and they thought I was making a bad mistake. I think I've been proven right in that case. They would all agree now. What do your parents think about you getting into politics at such a young age? Are they proud of you? Are they concerned about it?
I think they're largely proud. There's probably a slight concern, especially kind of jumping into the public eye and a lot of the attention that I've got, particularly because of my stances on immigration and my racial background, I suppose, or ethnic background rather. I have gotten a lot of negative attention because of that. So I think they're worried a little bit, but largely
Wait,
they
are you
really
talking about the anti-Indianism on the right wing? Is that what you're getting into?
Okay, it's a little twofold actually. The anti-Indian right wing, which I have experienced really only online and really only on X. I have never experienced any sort of racial hatred in real life and from anybody that truly matters. However, a lot of it is that, and then also immigrants and just people on the left that hate me because I have an Indian father and am largely against most forms of immigration, especially nowadays. So, yeah, it comes from all angles.
Well, this is a proud goy here. We're taking that. The whites are taking that. We've never really had a strong anti-white word. Cracker doesn't really hit. Honky, Yankee. We've had all these things. None of them really stick. None of them are really good. So we're taking goy. I know it's for anybody that's not Jewish. The whites are taking goy. Goy is ours now. Okay.
Yeah.
So anybody that wants to be derogatory towards whites, we demand that you use goy. But yeah, I would imagine I would imagine you see some of that, but no, it looks like you're a good sport about it. Again, folks, if you want to give her a follow here on X. A good follow, good commentary there. Priya Patel, right there on X, and we'll be following you, monitoring your activity here. And you know what? Try to keep it real out there. Try to keep it real out there. You're getting a lot of mainstream attention. Just try to keep it real for us. All right.
I'll do my best. Thank you for having me.
All right, Priya. Thank you for your time. There she goes.